A woman threw a bunch of coins into an airplane's engine while boarding, believing it would bring good luck for the flight. But when the plane took off, the coins damaged the engine and caused a fire. But first, if you love money more than completely shut down the flight, staff spent hours inspecting and repairing the engine of you, Mom. And while boarding, believe coins into an airplane's engine while boarding, believing it would bring good luck for the flight. But when the plane took off, the coins damaged the engine and caused a fire. But first, if you love money more than your mom, ignore this. But if you love your mom more than money, like, subscribe, share this video, also comment, I love you. But actually, the plane never took off. The pilot completely shut down the flight. Staff spent hours inspecting and repairing the engine, making sure no coins were left. In the end, the woman was arrested and taken away for questioning. A woman threw a bunch of coins into an airplane's engine while boarding, believing it would bring good luck for the flight. But when the plane took off, the coins damaged the engine and caused a fire. But first, if you love money more than your mom, ignore this. But if you love your mom more than money, like, subscribe, share this video, also comment, I love you, Mom. But actually, the plane never took off. The pilot completely shut down the flight. Staff spent hours inspecting and repairing the engine, making sure no coins were left. In the end, the woman was arrested and taken away for questioning. A woman threw a bunch of coins into an airplane's engine while boarding, believing it would bring good luck for the flight. But when the plane took off, the coins damaged the engine and caused a fire. But first, if you love money more than your mom, ignore this. But if you love your mom,
until he found his mom's credit card, secretly booking a ticket to Let's kids fly alone. You see, when his mom refused to take him, the 12-year-old decided to go by himself. And when he got there, he told security officers his mother was waiting for him outside. For the next few days, he rode bikes around the city and lounged in the hotel pools. But he was eventually spotted on a social media post, and his parents flew there to drag him back home. He dug through the purse. She was walking her bike as the drawbridge began to open. As the gap widened, she became trapped between the sections. She clinged to the edge as she screamed for help, but the bridge kept moving. One man rushed to grab her, but couldn't hold on without falling himself. She eventually slid into the opening and vanished to her death. The operator later admitted she hadn't checked the walkway before raising the bridge. She was walking her... plane, she tossed coins at the engine. And she did this so it would bring good luck for the flight. But even one small coin can cause enough damage to stop the engine mid-flight. So the plane was completely shut down. Then staff spent 4 hours inspecting and removing the coins from the engine, and the woman was taken away for questioning. As she walked,
She threw a handful of coins into the jet engine right before boarding the flight, as she believed that this gesture would bring good luck and ensure a safe journey. But the airport staff spotted her action and immediately offloaded the plane with a complete 5-hour inspection of the engine. However, the woman was detained by police, but surprisingly not jailed. She threw a handful of
he tossed the hard drive into the trash, thinking it was blank. But a few months later, he realized it was actually his key to 8,000 Bitcoin, which is worth over $800 million today. He begged the city council to let him dig up the landfill. They refused, saying he could damage the surroundings. So he made a plan that used special drones and robot dogs, hiring a team of experts to carry it out. And he even tried to buy the whole landfill. But to this day, the hard drive is still buried somewhere under millions of pounds of trash. He tossed the hard
जैसे ही वो दादी विमान की ओर जा रही थी, उसने इंजन में सिक्के डाल दिए। उसने ऐसा इसलिए किया ताकि उड़ान के लिए शुभ लाभ मिले, लेकिन एक छोटा सा सिक्का भी
volcano, would it prevent it from exploding? Well, magma and gas would still be rising from deep inside the Earth. And with nowhere to escape, the pressure would build higher and higher until the rock around the magma chamber would start to crack, opening new eruption points miles away from the original volcano. But the pressure might cause it to explode sideways out of the volcano, causing the eruption to be even more destructive than normal. Start with a triangle made of 4 pieces that fit together perfectly. But when you rearrange it, an empty spot suddenly appears. You see, when you first put it together, it looks like the pieces fit together with no extra space. But if you look closer, the smaller triangles inside have slightly different slopes, so they can't form a perfectly straight line. And this makes the longest side curve, just a tiny bit. When rearranged, that tiny curve shifts, leaving tiny strips of empty space. And the area of these strips is exactly the size of the missing square, meaning it was never actually a triangle, just an arc. The hatch was closed after the baby was put into the stroller, and a glass window let the parents see inside. As they walked, they would use a small hand pump to pull air through a filter, and only clean air would reach the chamber. You see, during World War II, people were afraid that mustard gas would be dropped on cities, so they made the stroller to make sure the gas was filtered out, and their babies could breathe safely. The hatch was closed. He put 12 cameras side by side, each connected to wires lining the track. As the horse ran past, it snapped the wires one by one and triggered each camera in order. These captured tiny slices of movement, each at 1/1000th of a second. You see, he wanted to prove that horses lift up all 4 feet at once when they run, and when the images were played together, the horses appeared to fly, with all hooves lifted for one brief moment. Soon, others began to experiment with this